All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's a Thursday night with Mel, Doerr, and myself. How are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you.
I had a rotten day, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, I'm sorry you had a bad day. I always enjoy our shows, and everybody else does too. So,
Thanks.
doing a show with the community is a good way to kind of turn things around, right?
There you go. Make things happy. There you
Yeah.
go.
All right. Well, I wasn't feeling up to it last week. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm glad to have you on this week.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
There you
You
go.
got anything going on? Anything new?
Well, let's see. I've got a few openings for Iceland. So if you're interested, let me know. The Danube and the Galapagos has a wait list. Let's see. And of course, we've got our event coming
Yeah.
June. Um, and we're discussing another event in September. So for those of you who couldn't get into the June event, same exact thing in September, toward
Yeah.
the end of the month. We're
We
just
had a lot of people interested because we were keeping it as a smaller group.
right.
Um,
So we're
so
tying up loose ends.
yeah, well, I guess we'll may possibly be making announcements on that here soon, right?
I'm sorry, say again.
But we might be making some announcements here soon on that, possibly.
Correct. We will. Oops,
Mm.
screwed up. There you go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it. Everything looks small, so I just made a wider screen. There you go.
All good?
Yep, I think.
Okay. And if you all could do me a favor, please just make sure that you hit that thumbs up, double check to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed to Mel's channel, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, go over there and subscribe, give him some love. Um,
Can I just touch on something? Lisa said that there's a lot of commercials. Oops, I'm sorry. Nope, I missed it. Lisa Foster said so many commercials. Okay, so we cannot control the type of commercials they put up.
mhm.
We can control how often they put in commercials, but a lot of times they'll do it every minute or two. So all you have to do is, if you're watching us when we're not live, just slide the slider bar all the way over and then start again. So I think that would help.
I think it's different when you go live and when you're watching live. I mean, we literally have been on for 2 minutes. So usually when you first come on, there's a commercial that you can skip after 5 seconds. It's automatic, but I don't know about three commercials in 2 minutes.
Well, what they do is,
Unless they updated something since
um,
the last time I went live.
no, I think in like, give me 1 second. Okay. Um, I think what'll happen is like right now we're live. I don't know how they do it when you're live, but then once we're not live and they can watch it like the next day, we would have to go into monetization and then you can click how often you want or how many commercials you want. So I usually only do 5 for an hour. Otherwise, they'll put them every 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, you'll have one every minute. No, I always have to go in and edit them too, but I'm not in control of when they do it when we're
No,
live.
we have no control over it when we're doing it live. We just don't. Um,
She says she had to sit through three. It said now playing two of three. Okay. I that is on YouTube, Lisa, not on us.
that we can't,
Sorry.
that we can't control.
Yeah. Other people in the chat aren't seeing it, but when you probably jumped on, it probably usually will make you watch one, but I guess for Lisa it was three back.
Now, if you're a member of YouTube, you don't have to do the commercials. In other words, I pay just a small monthly fee. But if you don't, then you got to sweat out the commercials.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Again, that's on
Sorry,
YouTube, not
Lisa.
on us. All right. So yeah, make sure that you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. After the video post, leave a positive comment. It all really helps with the YouTube algorithms, and helps get this content and our predictions out onto YouTube. Helps our channels grow. So we appreciate all of that. Um, I might have a couple openings at the very end of the month. If anybody wants a reading or a Reiki session, do a combination of both. And some into April. And I do also have openings in my Holy Fire Level 1 and 2 class, April 4th and 11th, and my Holy Fire Master Level class, May 15th through the 17th. You do have to be a level 2 practitioner for 6 months and have a good amount of experience doing self-Reiki, treating others, sending Reiki at a distance, and have your level 2 symbols memorized to be eligible to take that class. If you have any questions, all the information's on my website. You can book on the website, or you can send me an email if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. I think also for my members next Monday, I think that is that 16th? March 16th, we have our next members live for our Reiki and prayer circle at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I think that's it for announcements for me.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm starring things here, Kevin. So I got a bunch of them starred. So there we go.
Yeah, you too. I've been busy all day, so I haven't watched much of the news. I did hear that there was a shooting. I think a few people injured. The shooter was killed. I don't think that there was any other fatalities, as far as I know. But that's about all I've heard from today. And I have been predicting. It was for I believe a Jewish temple in Michigan. And I do feel like there's going to be more isolated terror acts. Even I feel cyber attacks too, but you know, the small cells of attacks rather than a big attack, you know, from Iran. But just very unfortunate, and of course, sending a lot of love and prayers and positive energy for that community that's struggling right now.
Anything like that is horrible,
Yeah, it happens.
I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what race you are. We should all be able to go to church, synagogue, temple, mosque without fear of being killed in a place where we worship or who or what we worship.
Absolutely. All right. So anything you want to read on, or you want to start popping up some questions, my friend?
Shall we just start?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead and read it because I'm starring some questions.
Linnea 71 says, hello, Auntie Mel and Kevin. Iran is threatening to attack California and also threatening the Orange Menace. Do you see any of this happening?
I don't see them taking him out.
I don't think they have the people power to attack California. They don't have the missiles to get there unless they get them from Russia. They might have drones that would get there. They don't have nuclear weapons, I don't think, unless they've gotten some from Russia, which I don't think they do. I see more sleeper cells and more smaller effects of things happening. That's what I pick up.
Can I tell you too? I mean, I believe this whole Iran's threatening to send drones to California is coming from us. And I'm sorry, if there were drones that showed up, I would have a very hard time with this current administration actually trusting that it came from Iran and not just something to, get people to rally around them.
That's a
false
good
flag.
It's just like that missile that hit that girls' school that killed all those kids. They said Iran did it to themselves, but the video showed it was a Tomahawk missile. Iran doesn't have Tomahawk missiles. Israel and the United States does. So there you go. So
I guess with Trump as president of our country, we're no better than Netanyahu and Israel blowing up hospitals in Gaza.
Or no better than the theocracies in the Middle East that he's criticizing.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
You just have to think that the way around this is don't believe anything Trumpolini says.
Yeah.
It's like, when do you know he's lying? He opens his mouth.
He breathes.
He walks, he breathes, he's lying. So, if he's saying Iran's doing this and that, just take it with a grain of salt. Because if you try to sift through with him what's true, you'll drive yourself insane. Just assume everything is a lie, because it is pretty much for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. Well, and also too, the scary thought is our president and everybody that is in his cabinet and administration. They're not qualified for these, security position. Well, for any, they don't have, a lot of them don't have any expertise or training experience. And so it's pretty scary, the level of incompetence, for us to feel safe, right?
It's more like, well, you did this for me, so I put you in this position because you'll agree with everything I want, right? That's what it's about. Many of us blame Bondi, Kristi Noem, Miller, Kash Patel, all of that. But let's put it squarely where it belongs. It's Donald Trump, because these people wouldn't be in these positions,
For sure.
unless it was for Trumpolini.
Well, and he doesn't care about people that are qualified. He just wants he wants a soldier that's going to be a yes man.
He just wants monkeys to jump up and down to his commands. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just call them monkeys? That's an insult to monkeys, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Can I say I threw some cards on like an attack and on the mainland?
Go ahead.
And I do feel like there is some kind of action, but I'm not feeling it's. Again, to me, it would feel like it would be like underhanded, or I would have a hard time trusting it actually came from Iran. But I'm almost feeling too, this kind of goes into what I've been predicting about historic protests here in the States at the end of the month and into April and worldwide. Because what I feel like is we've had enough, and I see us coming together, empowered, kind of fighting back through protest.
It's going to make what happened, the Vietnam protests and all of that years ago, during my heyday,
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make those look small. People are going to be out, exercising their right to peaceful assembly en masse. It's going to be huge. And so that's how I see it playing out.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thank you so much to Chantel for the super chat. Just keep up the great work on being the light during these difficult times from your neighbor to the North Canada. We love Canada.
We love Canada.
Thank you, Chantel. Appreciate that. And another thing I would say with the whole conflict is I don't believe a whole lot of what's coming out of the media right now, too, because all of the intel is being fed by the Trump administration.
If you want to know the truth, just watch independent social media like the Midas Touch or the Midas Network, or MS Now. MS Now.
I would say even for more of the Middle East stuff, checking out some of their local news sources from in the Middle East. Feel like they have better reporting.
Or check the BBC. I watched Al Jazeera. I didn't do that. I guess maybe my computer did. I don't know. But, those kinds of outlets. So then you get kind of a fuller picture. When I'm in Europe and I watch CNN and the BBC and all of that, when I get back here, I look at CNN, it's a completely different story. So,
yeah. But I mean, I don't believe all of the, I think last I heard that there was only 7, military people that were unalived. I feel like that it's a lot higher, and a lot of the attacks and destruction of our assets and all of that is not being reported as well.
Well, Putin is feeding Iran information because he got secret information directly from Trump. So,
and not even just from Trump. We remember what was it called? Signalgate with Hegseth and all the communications and all of the documents that Trump stole his first term and was storing them. Well, they know a lot.
I even think he told Putin a lot of our secrets, entertainment purposes only.
Oh, absolutely.
Putin is telling Iran where to strike our bases, where this and that. Well, how did he get that information? It came from Trumpolini and Hegseth and his unsecure networks.
But I see that all coming out too, because and maybe that's part of this shift and getting a lot of this administration out because of their traitorous acts and essentially selling our security and all of our intel to our adversaries.
It's about truth prevailing, and it will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here's a good one. Mara Pemberton.
The violence in the country towards our fellow man ever since Trump and Melania rode down the elevator in Trump Tower in 2015. After he's gone from the White House, will the violence go down?
Absolutely.
It's going to take a while, though.
I mean, he gives a wink and a nod to, to ultra right wing neo-Nazi organizations when they had those marches. Well, there were some good people there too. Oh, really? Okay, Donald. He gives a wink and a nod to all of that. And, he talks about, makes fun of people who are handicapped, talks about beating up reporters, talks about, fake news, gives Kristi Noem a green light to have her Gestapo thugs, kill innocent people. And hello, it's just a message to people it's okay to be violent. And it is not. And it will end. My God, it will end.
You know what, though? Even though I feel like things are starting to change and I'm actually, it's not going to all be easy, but I do feel like there's some light coming in at the end of the tunnel right now. I mean, there'll be other things that we go through that aren't going to be the easiest. I feel so bad for whoever our next president is, because they're going to spend their whole administration cleaning up all the bullshit that Trump caused in his administration, and not actually have any accomplishments of their own.
It's going to be something like Barack Obama said. We've got a lot of work to do, but rather than complain, let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. And he really pulled us out.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the Democrats are in things, the economy's doing pretty good. And then they get out of office. And, now we've got a larger debt than we've ever had in the history of this country, because presidents like Donald Trump, who criticizes other parties for spending, is spending like a drunken sailor on payday.
Yeah.
So
somebody says in the chat, just like Biden was forced to. No, this is a lot worse than Trump's first term, and he's only been in for a little over a year. It's all unchecked power this time. All yes men. There's nobody standing up to him. And he's really that test to our Constitution and our checks and balances.
Middle finger to the courts, middle finger to the Constitution. He campaigned on, I'm going to end, we don't need to be involved in the Middle East, no wars there. And what did he do? He starts a war to divert the attention away from the Epstein thing and to try to control the midterms. It's blowing up in his face, and it will.
Yeah. How I view this, and again, it's a bit unfortunate for whoever the next Democratic president will be. But it's almost like it's a start over in a lot of ways.
Right.
So I guess in some aspects it's positive, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take years. It may take a couple presidential terms to actually fix all of the damage that Trump's caused.
But once he's gone, I see legislation passed to curb any future rogue presidents. So thank God.
Oh, for sure. But it takes time, It's going to take time for all of our trade partners and our alliances to trust us. That's not going to happen overnight.
It's easy to tear something down. And I heard Barack Obama say this. It takes a while to build something, but it's easy to tear down. So, and then Trump is tearing down things and claiming about how successful he is. Well, tearing down something's easy. Mm-hmm. Building it back up, building something. Now that takes a lot of work. Yeah. So Trump really has nothing to brag about because he hasn't done anything except be Captain Destructo.
Absolutely. Vaisha, hopefully I pronounced that right. She says, "Hi, handsome, kind men." Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Will Michigan have a Democrat governor? Will we have a MAGA by the name of Nesbitt running? I think that there's actually a Democrat, an independent that I think is Democratic, or was a Democratic mayor and a Republican.
People in Michigan have had it with MAGAs. And I see a Democrat taking that spot.
I'm just thinking, though, if there's a more of an independent leaning Democrat, that could split some of the vote.
It's not.
I'm feeling it's staying more. I don't feel a MAGA Republican winning.
I don't see a Republican in that spot, provided that they count the votes right. But
Yeah.
Michiganders do not. Most of them are not Trump fans.
I feel like it's going to be okay. The cards I threw about who the next governor will be, we got somebody that's a fighter that's going to stand up to the bully, somebody that's going to be victorious, bringing in positive change, and the sun, which is the most positive card in the tarot. It's happiness, it's joy, it's success.
And I see the Ten of Cups, which is like a celebration. So
I'm feeling more of a masculine energy taking it, though.
I see the Democrat winning. I'm telling you.
I'm not entirely sure who's all running in that race, but it feels more like a male.
Michigan, the magician, the Democrats not the Democrats, Republicans will try some shenanigans, but they won't be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's all going to be okay with that.
Let's see here. Okay, here we go.
Iran seems to be vowing to keep the Straits of Hormuz closed, seriously causing shortages and price increases. How long will this last?
Well, let's put it where it belongs. The gas shortages and price increases aren't due to Iran. It's a direct result of Trump and Netanyahu attacking Iran. They are not going to give up the Straits of Hormuz easily, and I see some big battles there. This is the Hierophant. This will be Donald Trump. Okay, this would be the card of deception. How Trump and Netanyahu are deceiving everyone, and don't kid yourself. They're making a lot of money on this.
Oh, for sure.
And then I pulled the Lovers card, which means they're kind of, to use the vernacular, in this together.
I got the same card.
There you go. So
can I tell you with my Lovers, though, it's right next to the Ten of Swords, which would be a backstab, betrayal, ending of a partnership.
Right. Okay.
And I believe I was on Nath's channel this week or last week. Time's going by so quick. I think it was this week. This Monday. And he was picking up on a fallout between Bibi and Trump. I think that would be interesting because we know Bibi has all the dirt on Trump.
Well, I pulled the Three of Pentacles, which would seem like a marriage between the two of them, not that kind of marriage. They're both getting their palms greased. But I see the Israeli people marching, I mean, and protesting like Netanyahu has never seen. And they're going to come out en masse to protest Netanyahu and what he's doing in Iran, because innocent Israelis are being killed as well.
Yeah.
I ask if indeed Netanyahu and Trump will ultimately be taken out of power, and the sun came up. So the answer is yes.
Nice.
And
with the Lovers and the Ten of Swords, that's a card of defeat too. So.
And I see the number 14, and then I ask what happens to their regimes, and look what I pulled. This is the Four of Swords. It means really a death card, so that it's a death of their regimes. Iran is the only. There's going to be a big battle in the Straits of Hormuz. So the only way that they can reopen them would be to. I see a big battle coming there.
Yeah.
And I think they have it in mind because I see mines there. And it's going to be a while before they're reopened. When Trump said this war was going to last a few days, I rang my BS bell. And then he's saying a few weeks, I rang my BS bell. This could go on, but it's going to be a while for the Straits of Hormuz to be open. But how much do you want to bet, Kevin, that once the Straits of Hormuz are opened, that and the flow of gas and everything's going through. Let's see what Trumpolini does to bring down gas prices and to bring down grocery prices, because he's going to be blaming it on this. Oh, it's a temporary inconvenience. No, he won't do a damn thing. You mark my words.
Yeah. It's interesting because I actually feel like Trump's going to blow everything up like he's been doing. And I feel like he's going to leave, but it's going to destabilize that whole area. It's going to be a mess. And actually, who it's really going to affect, sure, we'll have some incidents here. But I see all of our allies and all of the Middle Eastern countries really struggling and suffering as a result of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be like escalating, de-escalating, escalating, de-escalating. That's how I kind of see it.
I mean, what he's done is cause instability in the entire Middle East.
Yeah.
A lot of those countries that gave him money to keep peace, they're saying, what the hell happened to our money? And they're going to go against Trump. And I see a few of those countries that have the Epstein files, not to mention Britain and France, and they're going to release them in their entirety.
Yeah, for sure.
We haven't heard the end of the Epstein files, but I pulled one more card on this, the 8 of Wands, which means speed, suddenness, just like how quickly he went into Iran. Well, he's got absolutely no strategy there. Just like Venezuela. Let's take out the president. No strategy. He doesn't have a strategy for Iran other than slash and burn. It's going to bite him. He's not winning in the eyes of the world, that's for sure.
Well, you know what I see the 8 of Wands as well, and I agree it's speeding up. They're projectiles.
Exactly.
In the sky.
Bingo.
I've been predicting, and I've been saying it since either last spring, last summer of 2025. I kept on seeing big ships on fire. And look what's happening now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be resolved soon, unfortunately.
They're cargo ships, but my light bulb just went on. And a lot of these things that Trump is blaming Iran for with these big ships, I got a funny feeling that he's behind some of those ships blowing up to make it look like Iran did it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I just picked up.
Like I said, we can't trust anything coming from our government about intelligence of what's going on there, or Israel. People in the chat are asking if Bibi's, if he was unalive. There's rumors of that. He's still alive.
He's still alive. Finally, Judy says, hello, handsome twosome. Will the orange clown find a way out of the Iran war? He's not looking for it right now. He's too worried that the Epstein files are going to come out. So he'll keep the spin going on this, but the Epstein files will come out more and more and soon.
I see him actually. I think, like I said, we're getting protests coming up here soon. And I think him and Republicans are going to have a really rude awakening of how pissed off people are. They already know from these special elections and primaries where Democrats are just absolutely dominating. Red districts that haven't been Democratic in 30, 40 years, Democrats winning by 10 points, 30-point shifts.
I think that a lot of the Republicans are going to, even more of them are going to pull away from Trump. So there's going to be a lot. And Trump is going to actually disavow himself from the MAGAs as well. Mm-hmm. I pulled a card on this question. Will he find a way out of the Iran war? And I pulled the Chariot. And it would mean new beginnings, which will be faced with great determination. He's not going to get rid of the theocracy in Iran. The Iranian people are banding together to fight against the interloper, which in this case is Trump and Netanyahu. Mm-hmm.
I do feel regime change, but I feel like it's going to take some time still.
I see a regime change there too.
It's not getting taken out from Trump. I think it will be after Trump's gone. It'll be a few years.
But for this country, even Israel and Iran, it's like exploring new ideas and philosophies, so that those philosophies that are here now, like Trump and his BS and Netanyahu and his BS, and even in Iran, that's all going to change for the better.
Yeah. Can I tell you, I threw some cards on this, and it's pretty dark.
That's too.
And the energy over there does feel very heavy, but we have a tower moment.
Ooh.
That's, I mean, you can see it. It's a tower on fire, right? Now, I don't know if I feel like that's like another 9/11, but there's something massive I feel coming out of this conflict that is going to really wake people up. People are going to be out in the streets. The judgment is calling, and I actually think it will be the end of Trump as a result.
And Netanyahu.
I see Netanyahu out as well. He has elections coming up, I think, later this year, but he may be out before that.
Pull the wheel of fortune, which means things are kind of an inertia. They're not moving as quickly as we'd like them to. But when a car is stuck in mud or in ice and its wheels keep turning, once it gets traction, then boom, it takes off. So once the momentum starts to get Trump out of office and Netanyahu, that momentum is going to pick up. And there's not going to be any holding it back. So
there's something massive I feel coming next month. It feels April. April feels crazy.
And you know what? Trump and Netanyahu they're going to be shamed in the future big time.
Well, I get walking away, my resignation card, death with this, which is change.
Ooh.
The magician. So magic happening because people are fighting against this regime.
And look here, Kevin, the moon. Secret things coming to the surface. Grandmother Moon, the keeper of intuition. The truth is going to prevail and it will come out. And it ain't going to be pretty when it comes to Trump. And I see some whistleblowers coming forward talking about deals that Trump and Netanyahu had made, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And here again, back to the Epstein files. Those haven't gone away either.
Oh, absolutely not. No. I actually feel like we're going to get some big news with that too. That feels like it's kind of a steady stream of leaks and information coming out.
Riley's going to get in trouble for that one. Obstructing justice, big time.
We kind of already covered this.
Yeah.
Cat says, how long will it take to gain our battered reputation back globally when 45's gone? It's going to take years, I feel like. It's going to take a while.
Okay. Can I touch on this one real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read it, Kevin?
Dragonfly Damsel says, will Michigan have to be concerned with such a large Arab American population in the state? There was an attack on the synagogue there today.
Okay. I know a lot of Arab Americans, and they're wonderful people. So you can't do to them what was done to the Japanese during World War II. You can't think that all Arabs are terrorists or that they're bad. So I don't think any of the Arab American population in Michigan are going to be behind any sleeper cells. All right. I do see sleeper cells that are here, the same as we have sleeper cells in other countries. But
I would say also that's not just isolated to Michigan. It's everywhere.
Correct. So let's see who did this to the synagogue. It might not even be an Arab American. Usually the mass shootings and that are taking place by the ultra right-wing Trumpsters who are radical.
I do feel like it was targeted though.
Well, but my point is it doesn't make all Arab Americans
terrorists. I agree. Absolutely.
Right now, the only terrorists in this country are Trump's ICE agents who are terrorizing innocent people. So we can't talk badly about our Jewish brothers and sisters or our Arab American brothers and sisters.
I agree, and I don't think Dragonfly Damsel meant it that way, but I know why you said it because that could be misconstrued that way, and we get a lot of comments.
And that's exactly why I said it.
Absolutely. Like I said, I don't feel it being just Michigan. It feels like it's everywhere. Yeah.
Trump will use that to say, you see what they're doing here. And here again, it's like he vilified Mexicans. He vilified Muslims. He vilifies anybody, but yet he started this war.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm not saying that the leadership in Iran is a charm. They're not.
No.
Right? And a lot of the Iranian people don't like it. They want their freedom. But I do see an end to theocracies there and here. And we think we don't have a theocracy here. Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is allowing the so-called ultra right-wing Christian nationalists to run this country. And they're about as Christian as this napkin.
All right. Can I actually pull up a couple questions I want to read out? Rob wants to know if we see the stock market making up the losses by the end of the year.
It's going to go up and down like an EKG of somebody having a heart attack, you know?
I had said I do feel it will get better towards the second half of the year. But I was feeling, I said it last year, the first quarter, springtime, felt like it was not doing good. I didn't feel like a total collapse, but a lot of anxiousness about the economy and stock market.
It's going to have some major hits. All right. I see record.
Well, we've already seen it. I think it's less now than when Trump first got in there.
Well, there's going to be at least 3 or 4 more huge hits, but it will correct.
I see it rallying.
But what I'm more concerned about is the inflation. I'm more concerned about recession and the prices we're paying. I mean, it's ridiculous. I got a salad the other day, a salad with chicken breast on it. It was like $23. I'm like, what?
It's crazy.
Exactly.
I do feel gas is going to go. When we're seeing gas prices here in my area, they went up like 80, 90 cents in a matter of a week. And I see it continuing to go up. Where I'm at right now, I believe it's a little over $3.50 a gallon. I see it's going to go up over $4 a gallon.
I can see it getting as high as $5 here. I mean, I went to the cardiologist the other day. I had to go into the city, and I had some blood work done. Everything was fine, by the way, thank goodness. I got to have an ultrasound of my neck, and I'm going to have a stress test because I haven't had one for a while. But anyway, the bottom line is I put gas in my car in the suburbs because it's cheaper than in the city, because the city has another tax on gas. But it had gone up, like in some places, like 90 cents. And that's crazy, you know. But, you know, we have to get to work. We have to drive, you know. I think what it's going to do is cause electric car sales to go up, but not Tesla, you all. All right.
Yeah. Well, and everybody that got a Tesla is regretting it, you know, before they realized how crazy Elon was.
So I pulled a card about the stock market. I got the 9 of Cups. So at the end of the year, you know, I have 3 or 4 big hits, but it'll pretty much, it'll correct. It'll come back up. So this will be a card of satisfaction and feeling more secure about the stock market. It's the other stuff that we got to worry about.
I get that it's going to correct too. There's a lot of big momentum and success here with this 8 of Wands and the Sun, which is happiness, success. I'm almost feeling like it's going to start going back up end of spring, summertime.
We have somebody here. I don't know how to put it up. $50 from, we already put that up, right?
We did.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just didn't see it.
And I think it depends on where you live, because for us, it might go up over $5 a gallon. If you're on the West Coast, they pay so much more for gas than what we do here. Or even, our friends overseas, gas prices are crazy over.
Arthur says it skyrocketed in California. So I don't
believe
know. In California, overseas, it's per liter, and a liter is a little bit more than a quart. So
do you see it? I think it's up over $100 a barrel now, or it's pretty close. And Iran said they're going to continue to keep it closed and to get up to $200 a barrel. I don't know if I see it going up that high, but I see it going up quite a bit.
What I see coming is like what happened during the Arab oil embargo in the 70s. And I was living here at the time. I went to school for a year of college, and I quit college for a couple of years, moved here after 2 years, went back to Kentucky, finished school, then came back to Chicago. But during that time, they had the Arab oil embargo. And what they would do is if your license plate ended, it had a certain letter, on these days you could buy gas. If you had another letter, on those days you could buy gas. And the lines were like, whoa.
Yeah.
In those days, gas was really cheap, but I think it went up to maybe, I forget what the prices were. I mean, before the Arab oil embargo, it was dirt cheap, and I think it went up to maybe $1 a gallon or something. People were like, but that was a lot in those days. But I remember waiting in line for an hour or two to get gas, so they
Oh,
rationed.
wow.
And I see gas rationing coming back again briefly, and that's really going to tick people off as well.
Well, yeah, and it's going to continue to increase the prices too if there's.
Well, my psychic light bulb went off, and I see gas rationing again.
Okay.
The Three of Swords will mean delays, disappointment. So don't be disappointed with the gas prices. Now, they might come down a little briefly, but I see oil, I think it's going to get about as high as a couple hundred a barrel. And he's either going to have to call from the nation's oil reserves, or
He's already talking about that. I think he will do that.
yeah, but he criticized Biden for doing it, remember?
Well, right. It's okay. Everything's Biden's fault. I mean, he would blame this whole situation on Biden, right? Because he can't ever take accountability for.
It's his fault because I invaded Iran. That rhetoric's not flying anymore. Donald, you've been president for over a year now.
It's crazy.
Here's a good one. Raymond De Pasquale. Hi, Raymond. How are you? Did Israel use blackmail from the Epstein files to have the United States attack Iran? I don't think so. I think just Donald and Bibi made up their minds to do it. A lot of people are saying that Bibi Netanyahu coerced Donald into doing it. I don't think you can coerce Donald into doing anything. I think he saw it as a way to divert attention from the Epstein files. And Netanyahu wanted to attack Iran anyway. So they just made pretty good bed buddies on it. That's what I pick up.
I get that Israel knows a lot.
Oh, they do. But I don't think they said we're gonna release the Epstein files.
He might not have specifically said that, but I think Trump knows that Bibi has compromise, so he's pretty much has to do what he says anyway, right?
Well.
I mean, I threw cards. My Epstein card was the first card out.
Oh, well, I asked what the Epstein files are going to do to Donald Trump, and look what came up.
Yeah, for sure.
The Tower, which means change, truth.
Shocking news, big breaking news.
It means disharmony, discord. But it also is going to be a big blow up, like we've said, between Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, and also, too, Putin has all of this information as well. So if it's not Bibi that drops it, it will be Putin, because he's not happy about this either. Iran and Russia are allies. He's helping Iran. So,
but Raymond, that's a really good question.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here's another one.
We just got another super chat. I'm going to pull up real quick.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Journey with Tana. Really appreciate that. She says, hi, Mel and Kevin. I just want to say thank you for sharing your light and guidance. I enjoy you individually and in your collabs. Blessings to you both from Oregon. Thank you, Tana.
I enjoy the collabs that I do with Kevin.
I do too.
Look forward to it.
I do too.
All right. Here we go.
Lauren Austin says, Gavin Newsom's term's up in November. What will he do between then and trying to run for president in 2028? Well, people are going to start announcing after the midterms. That's when they start getting everything all organized and going out to the country to either announce that they're running for president or to get all of that infrastructure built.
He's going to be doing a lot of meetings against Trump, I can tell you that. And folks in California, don't worry. A Democrat will win that race for governor. So
yeah, people were asking about that too. There's a lot of worry because there's such a big Democratic field, and the way that California goes is, when they're doing their primaries, they take the top two, can be somebody from the same party. So if two Republicans get a majority of the vote, they would be the ones that you vote on. But I actually feel that crowded field on the Democratic side narrowing beforehand.
way narrow. I got a question. It's not in the chat. I feel Tallarico is going to win in Texas.
I think so too.
And I think he's going to do a run for president at some point. All right. Here's a good one.
Will MAGA Mike be voted out? I see him leaving. I don't know about voted out.
On.
Yeah.
As Linda Grindle would say, bigly. I asked for a thing about America, and I pulled the Ten of Wands. It's like this guy carrying this load, and it's heavy, and it's kind of bearing him down.
You say 10 of Wands?
10 of Wands.
That's what I got.
Yay, there you go.
That's not an easy journey.
It's a hard journey, and we feel like we just want to throw all those wands down and just ease ourselves. But if you look, the village is in the back, is really close. It's getting close. So he'll get his wand to the village, and he can put the load down and make some money on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
My point is, right now we feel like we're carrying this heavy, heavy burden, and it's going to get heavier for a while, or I should say darker. But that burden will soon be lifted. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. I
feel excitement. I mean, again, there's going to be a lot of heavy stuff going on. We see, war, conflict, but I actually feel like there's a lot of empowerment and hope and coming together that's going to feel very uplifting.
That's what I see.
And I threw on MAGA Mike if he's going to be voted out. Again, I got the 10 of Wands, returning to the past. But I also feel like there may be some investigations into money deals and illumination coming out into that, because I have the thief card here. So maybe taking money or misappropriating money. I think a lot of them are in on this whole stock manipulation with Trump. But I feel like a big investigations and the truth will be revealed here with the Sun. So there's more than just him being voted out. I feel like there's investigations.
I pulled the Page of Swords, so it's somebody who's younger and very, I like fiery, and almost like the personality of a Buddha judge. Kill him with the facts, and it's going to be somebody who's absolutely no nonsense. I'll tell you. Well, I'm happy because it'll be somebody that all of us like, and he's not going to go along with Trump. Just to go along, he will speak up, or she will speak up, and not be afraid to do so.
Absolutely. Can we read on the SAVE Act? Because they're supposedly talking about, one of the Republicans in the Senate said that he would be Cornyn in Texas, because he wants Trump's endorsement over Ken Paxton, because they just had their primaries, said he would get rid of the filibuster to get it passed. We've read on it before. I don't see it getting passed, but I'll throw some cards on it.
They don't have enough to get rid of the filibuster.
Yeah.
And, here's the deal. Even if it passes, and when Trump says, I'm not going to sign any more bills until I pass, they pass the Save America Act, which is really the Save America Act is the SAVE Act. Yeah, Save America Act. If it goes through, which I doubt, then the courts would look at it and say it would go to the Supreme Court and say
constitutional.
It's not constitutional. So, and by the way, Paxton's not out of the woods, because in the future, I see him indicted. I've always seen it, and his rear end in jail. So,
yeah,
Trump will support whoever he can.
I have heard too that even if it did pass, where it's really going to hurt Republicans is in red states too, so it would backfire. But I'm not seeing it getting passed.
I don't see it passed either.
Or it will be stopped if it does. But the thing is they need 60 votes to pass it now, which they don't have. So Trump wants them to nuke the filibuster. I think I don't know if that is just a simple majority. But they have 3 extra Republicans. I don't feel like they have the votes to nuke the
don't.
filibuster to get it done.
No,
And also,
go ahead.
I'll just say with that too, you were talking about Trump threatening not to get anything passed or not signing anything. I think automatically 30, 60 days, if he doesn't sign it, it automatically becomes law. But I'm actually okay if he doesn't want to sign any more of his BS and his agenda.
I pulled the King of Swords, and that's here again a fiery Democrat or Democrats and some Republicans saying, no, we don't want this passed. Isn't it crazy that when it doesn't favor the Republicans, when the Democrats, when they wanted the filibuster, oh, we have to keep the filibuster.
Oh,
Now,
I know.
now Trump wanted it. Now they're trying to get rid of it but guess what? That door swings both ways, and that's going to bite them in the butt. Ultimately, I see the filibuster. I don't say it's going to go away. It'll just be limited. But in a way, it's a good thing. If that SAVE Act passed, it's not going to go through. It's not the courts. The courts will say no, you can't do it.
Yeah.
I pulled.
Well, I mean, the devil card's not always the best card to come out for something like that. But I will say, you know what? If they want to have precedent and nuke the filibuster, Trump's already destroying everything anyway. We're going to have to rebuild. So it just gives Democrats an excuse to actually get some things done whenever they take over, right?
Well, it just means hard work, restrictions, but the restrictions won't win. So the Dems are going to have to work really hard, and they'll have Republicans on their side because some Republicans don't want this SAVE Act either, because it can bite them in the butt. And this means a feeling of being entrapped. So Trump wants to make us all feel entrapped and hopeless. But Trump's restrictions will be temporary. So,
yeah, I agree. And the thing is we're seeing Republicans stand up to Trump now, but as primaries happen and people know that they're safe and they don't have to worry about Trump endorsing a challenger, we're going to see more and more start to stand up. I really see things at the end of this month into April, that big thing that's coming up being a turning point.
Something huge coming. You're right. I think, if a lot of them, if they want to keep their positions, they better not support Trump on the SAVE Act, because ultimately, if they do, it's not going to bode well for them.
Yeah, for sure.
The reason,
well, that's why they need to do it too, right? Because they know how bad they're going to lose.
Right. And the other thing is
he
wants to restrict women's right to vote because most women don't vote for Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's one.
Will the Nympha virus come here and wreak havoc? I've read on this, and I don't see it being a pandemic like COVID. I do feel that there will be places around the world that has outbreaks of this, and we may have isolated spots in the U.S., but I'm not seeing it turning into COVID. And I feel like it's contained actually pretty quickly, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty virus.
Yeah.
Well, Trump
it's more deadly than COVID too.
Trump won't say much about it, but it'll leak out that it's here.
Can I tell you where I feel more concerned is actually all, having RFK Jr. and head positions and all of the measles outbreaks and, all this anti-vax, anti-science. That's where I see a lot of people getting sick and dying.
Well, people at the CDC have had it, and now they're coming out with bracelets that says CDC strong. I have a client that works for the CDC, and she told me how horrible it is there and how they've replaced all these prestigious scientists, and many of them are resigning, with these people who know absolutely nothing about epidemiology or anything. It's just all incompetence. And a lot of workers there have had it. And CDC used to be, our mainline defense against these sorts of things. So, if the virus comes here, and I probably think it is already, Trump's
scary thought.
Trump's people won't report it, but doctors will. And they're going to come out and start saying, wait a minute, something has to be done.
I'm not seeing it turning into that. I'm really not.
I don't see it's going to be a huge major epidemic, but I still see doctors coming forward saying you need to do something.
I agree.
It does get out of hand.
For sure.
All right. Ooh, this is a good one, Kevin.
What do you see happening with Zorro Ranch? Me and Lori from The Way of Positive Change got into it yesterday and actually wrote on it quite a bit. I'm not the most familiar with the whole Epstein stuff. I don't really watch to me, it's very dark. And as an empath, it's very overwhelming. I will say the first time I wrote on it, I saw a child being buried alive. And I feel like there was multiple. I feel like they're actively trying to, cover things up to destroy evidence, but there is so much evidence there. I do feel bodies will be found. I feel it taking a while, though. It doesn't feel like this is just a quick investigation. I feel like it goes on for a long time, like years.
Well, I pulled the Ten of Swords, and it shows that, it could be the end of a matter, but it also shows that they try to do some cover up and that they've tried to get rid of evidence, but there's still enough trace evidence left to cause them to ask more and more questions. And this trace evidence would shed light on the fact that there was cover-ups and that things were removed that should not have been. I'm talking about bodies.
I do feel like there will eventually be some justice and truth emerging there. There'll be charges, but I think it's going to take a while. Every time I read on it, it's
really dark. It's really dark.
Really fucked up.
It's really dark. So, did you just drop the F-bomb on YouTube, Kevin?
I might have.
Sorry
if I offended anybody, but
well, I think
everybody else probably agrees with what
I'm sure they've heard it. I live in Chicago. The F-bomb's every other word.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty dark.
I don't think they'll demonetize you for dropping the F-bomb once. I don't know how that would work, but
I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be all right.
Okay. Let's see.
Can I ask you, we're talking about the No Kings protests, and I actually feel like, I don't know if it's No Kings or if it's just continued protests even after that. It may start from No Kings and continue to build. Maybe this big thing in April that we're picking up.
It's no
people
Kings,
out.
It's No Kings, but then it's going to be anti-war protests.
I agree.
Peace, and then people will get away from anti-war because they don't want to use the word war, but I see peace protests coming, huge peace protests.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the peace sign coming back,
But my question with it, and because we've been reading on it for a while, when Trump first got in, me and you both picked up on like a martial law, Kent State kind of situation. And I actually feel like between the war and doing something like that might be what removes Trump. Do you feel like it's going to be safe to protest, or do you feel like this is what we were picking up last year when he first got in?
I probably feel like it would be more like people protesting ICE. That would be more of a Kent State thing.
Mm-hmm. Rather than like military. I've always felt he's going to try to declare martial law.
He will, but he will not succeed.
Yeah.
Because the courts are going to be like, absolutely not. And if he's still around at the midterms, it'll be right around the time of the midterms when he's going to try some stuff to really get people hopping mad. He will do anything. His one theme is always about how to manipulate the midterms, because he knows that if he loses the midterms to the Dems, his ass is grass and the Democrats are the lawnmower.
I feel like the No Kings protest will be good, but like we were saying, anti-war are going to stem, and he's going to try to become the authoritative dictator here and trying to rein people in. There's a hidden agenda here too.
Correct. but he won't be successful. He's going to try to put us all out in the cold, but he's going to be out in the cold.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think that something like that, trying to send the military on American citizens because they're protesting and, you know, voicing their constitutional rights, I feel like that could be what actually leads to him.
You know what just popped in my head? The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies, and you know, Margaret Hamilton is the Wicked Witch of the West. Used to scare the bejesus out of me. Even now, I get cold chills. I did her voice.
She scared my sister too. That's her favorite movie.
Oh, me too. I love that movie. And every time I watch it, I see a little something different. But when she goes, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too," I just heard that voice in my head saying to Donald Trump, "I'll get you, Orange One, and the Maybelline Queen too."
Mel.
Listen, that doesn't pop in my head very often, but boy, that was.
I love it. I love it. That's funny.
Laura and Austin. This is a good one.
Laura says, will Trump eventually get a win with Iran? Or do we have to walk away from this mess in defeat? I don't see us winning.
It's going to be more like remember how Trump criticized Biden for pulling out of Afghanistan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Karma is a biatch, because that's exactly how it's going to happen in Iran. It's something it's non-winnable, and Trump is going to have to pull out. And let's see if he can handle how. Let's see how his regime reacts when the Democrats start giving him hoopla for pulling out.
Well, his nickname's Taco for a reason, right?
There you go.
Yeah, he always chickens out. That's how I see it. When he knows that he can't win, or you know, whatever all of the loss of soldiers, and our infrastructure and bases and all of that, when that information comes out and there's such a backlash, and as we're seeing the economy starting to drop, yeah, he's going to destroy things, and then he's going to back out of it, and it's going to cause a mess and destabilize that whole area for a while.
Donald Trump will not be very good at pulling out. That's another reason why he has such mixed up
Oh my God.
kids. Okay.
I'm not going to say this comment, but while we're talking about pulling out, Grace says, if only dumped.
I was just thinking that. I could have used different verbiage, but I did it for a reason. You know, I know somebody who drives who had some of Trump's kids in their vehicle. I won't say the driver's sex, and told me that those kids were the most misbehaved on the planet. They had absolutely no manners at all. So tells you why. Yeah.
I get this. I know that there's obviously, with everything going on, you know, everybody's freaked out. I don't see boots on the ground, and I'm not seeing the draft being enacted. They might start putting things in the work, but I don't actually see them enacting the draft.
Coffee Cat says, per the LA Times and other news, Mojtaba Khamenei vows revenge on U.S. and Israel. I haven't watched anything.
I read on him too, and I do feel there's reports that he was injured, and I do feel he is. And he's in hiding right now. I don't even know if he's in Iran. I was kind of feeling like he might be underground, but alive.
I don't see a future for him at all, so he's not going to be around long either.
I agree. That's what I was picking up yesterday with Lori. So
somebody says, hello to both of you. I'm freezing here in North Carolina. Crazy weather.
Yeah.
Well, so much for those climate change deniers. We had some horrible tornadoes here in Illinois. And in Northwest Indiana, there were 3 or 4 people killed the other day. You know, it was warm here. It was like in the 70s, and the temperature got cold. And I told my husband, that's tornado weather. And it's unusual to have tornadoes this time of year. Usually they come in April or May.
It's very early. Yeah, you guys, your area, Illinois and Indiana was hit. I'm in Ohio, but I'm up by the lake. So we had some storms yesterday morning, and then the cold draft hit us today. So it's been a bit chilly today.
On my way to the cardiologist yesterday morning, the traffic was so bad on the expressway, I took an alternative route. And when I got on Lakeshore Drive, there were areas that were flooded.
Yeah.
It took me 2.5 hours for a drive that normally takes maybe 45 minutes. So it was crazy because of the weather.
Yeah. It's not going to be, the weather is going to continue to be crazy. I'm feeling fires in a lot of areas. I feel a lot of water and flooding and, hurricanes, tornadoes, a lot of earth activity too. So it's not to freak everybody out, but I think we should all be somewhat prepared and, have some supplies if we need it, because it's a regular occurrence and it's just going to kind of continue for a while.
I'm not worried so much about nuclear war. I think the greatest threat, existential threat or threat to our existence, is climate change.
Yeah.
And for those who deny it, just walk outside. Hello, here, this was, let's see, Kash Patel. UFC fighters to train FBI agents. All righty then. Waste of taxpayers' money because they're all trained.
Can I tell you, I feel like Kash Patel might be the next one out. I know Kristi Noem really isn't technically out, even though she lost her job, but I feel like Patel might be next. And I actually feel he's not very happy with Pam Bondi right now either.
I was going to say, I don't know who's first, Bondi or Patel, but
Okay.
it's boom, boom, right in order. But, Kristi Noem's replacement isn't much better. He's even worse, I think. So
yeah, I agree with that. The thing is, he hired yes men, but they don't know what he's hiding. So they have all of this information. So it's like he can try to fire them. Then what do they just threaten and release what they know? I think that's why Kristi Noem wasn't just kicked to the side of the road. She got a made up position, right?
Well, when I saw her flippant behavior, it reminds
me. Keep her quiet.
And Kash Patel's. Bye-bye, Kash. Bye-bye, Bondi. Can we just, everybody, send healing energy to Amy Warrior Princess? She's got herniated disc in her back, and she's going to have to go through surgery.
Oh,
Amy,
no.
I'm not doing personal questions, but I'll do this one. My guides tell me you'll pull through it with flying colors. It'll stop this horrible pain you're in almost immediately. Back surgery is painful, but nothing compared to when you have herniated discs. So my feeling is you'll pull through it wonderfully well, and let's everybody send Amy Warrior Princess healing energy and love.
Absolutely. All right. We want to do one more
Let's
question.
Do one more, yeah.
All right, let's see.
Oh, here's a good one. How about this one? Ooh.
Well, Raymond says a constitutional amendment was just introduced to allow Trump a third term. Will it pass?
No.
Don't you need like two-thirds majority to change the Constitution?
You need 2/3 majority. It has to pass the House and the Senate. Then you need 2/3 majority of the states to pass it.
Okay.
And they don't have 2/3 majority of the states at all.
I thought that there was two ways that they could pass it, through the states or through 2/3 of the House and Senate.
I think
either way, I don't see it happening.
But I think this. Let me just check real quick. He's not going to have a third term.
You have to be alive to have a third term.
Thank you.
I don't see him around 3 years from now. He might make it through this year. That's a big if, but I'm not seeing like years and years of life for Trump.
Okay, I just Googled it. Okay, it's a two-stage process outlined in Article 5, proposal and ratification. Amendments must be proposed either by 2/3 vote in the House and Senate or by a convention called for by 2/3 of state legislatures.
Yeah.
Ratification requires approval by 3/4 of state legislators or state conventions. Congressional action, a 2/3 vote in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, which they don't have. National convention, a convention called for by 2/3, 34 of 50 of the state legislatures. So that's just to propose the amendment. You have to have that.
Yeah.
Now to actually change it, okay, to ratify it, you need 3/4, 38 of 50 of the state legislatures and state conventions, approval by special ratifying conventions in 3/4 of the states, used only once for the 21st Amendment. Once proposed, the National Archives and Records Administration sends the amendment to the states for ratification. Congress determines which of the two ratifications will be used. The process is designed to be difficult and time-consuming, requiring board consensus across the nation. So I think by the time it gets through that, his term will have expired. So I don't see it happening.
I don't even think that this is a serious amendment.
No, it's just saber.
It's just to boost his ego and to make him feel better about himself, right?
That's right. So Raymond, I'm not worried about that.
No.
I mean,
That's not happening.
run for a third term, not going to happen. And who would primary him in? Because I would see record numbers of people coming to get Democrats or independents in office and get Trump out. So there you go.
All right, my friend. Next week, your channel?
Next week, my channel. So Kevin, what do you got coming up in the very near future?
Well, I have some openings for readings and Reiki sessions. I believe at the end of this month, going into April, I have some Reiki classes coming up April 4th and 11th for level 1 and 2, which is beginner friendly. I think we have 3 spots left open. So if you're interested, check it out on my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com. You can send me a question with an email. All that information is in the description box. I think that's about it for me. What about you, my friend?
Y'all, I would suggest taking Kevin's classes because he's a wonderful teacher, and getting a reading from him. He's a wonderful psychic, and Reiki sessions as well. A wonderful healer.
It's a good time to get a Reiki session if you're feeling stressed out and overwhelmed with all this energy.
I needed one today, actually. I have openings as well for readings. I'm gonna on Monday. I think I'm gonna do an Aloha Oracle for my members so they can ask personal questions.
Nice.
Monday night at 7:00. And let's see. I'm going to start teaching some classes on intuitive development online. They're going to be limited and in person here at my office. So when I put it together, you can call my office 847-590-5411 to find out about readings and classes and things like that. Kevin, how do they get a hold of you?
You can go to my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com.
There you go.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week, my friend. Everybody take care. Stay well. We will see you soon.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.